in this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. It promises to be informative. We will be looking at 5 different pathways to relocate and settle in the UK as a tech talent. And for all of those 5 pathways, we will be talking to you about how a beginner can plan, how a beginner could use this route to relocate and settle in the UK. It's 1.5 hours in terms of the journey for today's edition. And during that time, we'll be sharing a lot of information, a lot in terms of inspiration, and also a lot of education in terms of how you could use these routes to relocate and settle in the UK. And when we say, and we are focused on tech, but when we say tech, we are not saying the technical side of the field of technology. We're actually saying the field of technology. And generally speaking, field of technology, we have the technical side and we have the non-technical side, or you may say the business side of the field of technology. If you're on any one of those sides of tech, you're welcome in the room. And even if you're not in tech at all and you're just exploring your option, you're welcome, because many of these options that we are talking about today, they are options where an absolute beginner can plan and use this route over a period of time. Do let me know. Confirm to me if you can see my screen. Also confirm to me if you can hear me. And if you're on the session live, do drop in the chat where you're joining us from. Introduce yourself. We think of this as a networking session as well. If you want to, drop your LinkedIn profile and all, because you can connect with other people who are interested in different things, and you may be able to collaborate with other people. You may find your co-founder here. You can find many other things here in terms of just networking and connecting with others. If you're watching the replay video, you can do the same in the comments on whatever platform where you're watching this particular session of eMigr8 Open Day. This session today, our focus is on the UK, and we're looking at not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 different routes that you could use to relocate and or settle in the UK. All of these routes are going to be tech-related routes, but if you're an absolute beginner, you can plan in terms of using these routes. And it is tech-related because you are on the eMigr8 platform. And at the moment on the eMigr8 platform, we are focused on just tech routes on the eMigr8 platform. eMigr8 is your tech-enabled platform for relocation and settlement. And in terms of today's session, I will start by just sharing a bit around what eMigr8 is, what eMigr8 is not. I will share some general information about eMigr8 and some things that we believe will help you. We will signpost you to different tools that we have on the platform, different features, different products that are available on the platform, all available to help you. If you haven't done so already, the eMigr8 Tech Visa app is the app that you want to download, because most of our free offering we actually offer through this eMigr8 Tech Visa app. And then we will go on to now focus on those 5 routes that we will be discussing today. We will be discussing from the perspective of why the routes are available, what you need to do to qualify for the route, and then we will spend some time talking to absolute beginners to say, even if you were not in tech at all today, this is what you could do for you to qualify for this route over a period of time. We also have a number of bonuses. As we said, if you wait on this session till the end, we do have a special gift for you. We also have resources for if you're working on your UK Global Talent Visa application, and you're doing it yourself, DIY approach, we have a number of free resources that we believe would be useful for your journey. And so as you can see, the edition is packed. The platform is packed and geared towards helping you fulfill your dream. We are your platform for relocation and settlement. We are your platform for talent mobility. We are your platform helping you get from where you are to where you want to be, particularly as at this moment, if you are in tech or you are interested in tech. But like I said, when I say tech, I am not saying the technical side or the field of technology. We're saying the field of technology. I'll just mention that we have a number of replay videos available on the eMigr8 platform. We've had a number of sessions over many months now. And many of these sessions, the replay videos are available directly on the app. If you go on the app, you'll be able to find the replay videos. If you go on YouTube, you'll be able to find some of the replay video. But on the app, you will be able to select based on your unique circumstance. Are you a beginner? Are you intermediate? Are you advanced? Are you interested in a specific country? Because we've done sessions around Australia National Innovation Visa. We've done sessions around the UK Innovator Founder Visa, the US EB1 visa, and several different visa pathways that we've done extensive sessions. We've done sessions informing about requirements. We've done inspirational sessions where we brought people, many of whom were our successes, to come share their journey as regards the particular visa pathway they've used to move from their home country to where they are now, or in some cases to switch from a visa to another visa based on what they were looking at. Today's edition, as I mentioned, is focused on the UK. We are going to be focusing on a number of routes available for you to relocate and settle in the UK as a tech talent. Please let me know that you can see my screen. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. And also don't forget, as we said, you can drop your LinkedIn, you can drop your connection details so that others can connect with you. And you never know, this may be the beginning of a journey of success or a journey that you meeting other people within this ecosystem that we have built and we are currently building. The app, if you haven't done so, the app is on the Play Store and also on the iOS Store as eMigr8 Tech Visa. It's also available on the web, and we're asking you to download the app because many of these features, many of the offering that we are talking about, they are available on the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. We do have a number of packages on the platform, and this is one of the featured packages, which is the Settle in the UK as a tech talent. We'll touch on this later on in today's session. This is an option that you could use as an absolute beginner. And if you're an expert and you already have a number of years of experience in the field of technology, then this is fantastic for you. And even better still, if you have some startup experience, it would even make this route quicker for you. This route is one where you will be able to move with your spouse and dependent. And also it allows you to switch to say if you're already in the UK and you're looking for a pathway to switch to a visa that leads to settlement, this is a route that you can look at. It requires time and equity, and it requires investment in time, and you need to have at least 3 to 6 months minimum for you to be able to use this route. If you're interested, send us a message on WhatsApp or send us a message on the app, and then the team will be able to put you in front of a coach that can explain much more based on your own unique circumstance. We have many more editions of eMigr8 Open Day coming up, focusing on different visa routes. Right after this session and this edition of eMigr8 Open Day, the next Open Day will be focusing on the UK Global Talent route, and we'll be focusing on investors for the UK Global Talent route. We also have sessions coming up around Canada Startup Visa and other investment routes in Canada. We also have options around the French Tech Visa, UK Innovator Founder Visa, and several different pathways along these lines that are available to you on the eMigr8 Visa platform. You can reach the platform by downloading the app, iOS and Android, but we are also available on platforms like WhatsApp, Telegram, and the web. where you could use eMigr8 to help your migration journey. Whether what you're looking at is relocation, whether what you're looking at is settlement, or you're looking at integration, this is your one-stop platform that will help with your journey. We would handhold you and we will work with you from where you are to where you want to be. And I can explain that more because I guess a question you would ask, particularly if you're joining us for the first time on this platform, is what is eMigr8? At eMigr8, we say we help you become globally attractive. And hold on, yes, I know that many of us on this call were on the call because you're interested in one visa pathway or the other. What it is that if you are globally attractive, you have options of multiple visa opportunities. We believe that qualifying for these visa opportunities is only a side effect of you becoming globally attractive. And so our aim on eMigr8 platform is to help you become globally attractive. And then, of course, you will qualify for many of these visa opportunities. Many of them we will be discussing today. And we'll be discussing today many of them, some of them from the UK perspective. But why are these visas available? They are available because talent is the new oil. Many forward-thinking countries of the world now understand that they want to have the best of talent in their jurisdiction. They are not doing those talents a favor. They are not doing you a favor by making these visa opportunities available. The reason why they are available is because many of these forward-thinking countries understand that net, they are better off having you in their jurisdiction. They understand that you're going to bring your idea, you're going to bring your innovation, you're going to bring your money, high taxes, high salaries, you're going to create employment, you're going to create jobs. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, you will still create jobs as a professional that would need support team supporting you. And all of these drives economic value in their jurisdiction. And so they're happy to ask you to come, and if you want, with your family, with your dependent, with your spouse, with anything that you want to move to come and live, to come and work and relocate to their jurisdiction. Because they've calculated it to say net, you are a net benefit to their economy. That's why these visas are available. And there are several of these different visa opportunities across the world. The UK Global Talent Visa, the US O1 Visa, Australia National Innovation Visa, the French Tech Visa, the German EU Blue Card Visa. I can continue mentioning several of these visa opportunities. They're all available to you, but the one condition is you have to be globally attractive. You have to qualify. The reason why there are visas is because if the gate was just open, everyone will move everywhere. But they want the best of the best. They want you. And sometimes when we say things like global talent, a number of people immediately discount themselves. They go, oh, it can't be me that you are talking about. It's you that we are talking about. And the reason why I can say it's you is because even if you are zero today, there's a pathway for you over a period of time for you to become globally attractive. And this pathway is what will help you discover, we help you navigate, we handhold you through the journey on the eMigr8 platform. The pathway could involve your individual profile, or in some cases, it could involve your startup, your business, your tech-enabled business. Your startup can become your visa, and at the same time, it could even become your ticket and cover your cost of relocation and settlement to your dream country. All of these information is what we do on the eMigr8 platform. In terms of specific services, the eMigr8 services cover things like information sessions, such as this one you're on today, where we will be drilling down into 5 pathways for you to settle in the UK, even as a beginner. We cover general inquiry. It covers coaching and hand-holding. And if you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I qualify already and I would like some sort of assessment, it covers that. If you're like, oh, I want to do it myself, I just need a bit of guidance, some self-directed roadmap, our services cover that. Or if you're like, oh, I want a roadmap and some experts, some people that have done it before to help me navigate the journey, our services cover that. I'll give you an example of UK Global Talent Visa to say, yes, I've applied myself, but I didn't get endorsed as I expected to be. What was the problem? Our service covers that. And our service will cover things like reviewing your application before you submit. It will cover things like endorsement review to say, oh, I want to appeal a decision made negatively in this case. What do I need to do? What do I need to do differently? I would like a second pair of eyes to take a look at all of this. eMigr8 covers this. It gets better because over 80% of what we do on the platform is free. Yes, you heard that. Over 80% of what we do on the platform is free. And it is free because we operate a freemium model. Yes, we're a business, don't get me wrong. We operate a freemium model. And you use other tools that operate the same kind of model. So I would use the example of Gmail. A number of people don't pay for Gmail, but Gmail is a profitable business. It's a profitable business because the few people that pay more than covers the cost of those that use Gmail for free. On the free side of the eMigr8 platform, we have the eMigr8 Tech Visa app, and that's where you need to start from. If you're coming on the platform, everything, most of the things that we do for free on the platform, we do on the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. And so download that app, use it every day. A lot of the tools and features have been built for you to help you navigate this journey towards being globally attractive, qualifying for the visa, but then continuing your journey towards being globally attractive. We cover information and inspiration sessions, such as this that we're on today. We have the eMigr8 community on 6 different social media platforms that you can join on WhatsApp, Telegram, and many other platforms. We do regular open days like this session today. We have a lot of introductory video. Name the tech visa that you are looking for. We probably have that video that will help you 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour resources that has broken down these into minute details that can help you take your next step. We also do visa specific office hours to say, oh, I would like to talk to someone about my own unique circumstance. This is available. The office hours are group sessions. They are not private one-to-one sessions, but they tend to be useful for people that need it. You can go there, you can share screen with a coach, and the coach will be able to give you guidance. Pre-evaluation and self-assessment are available. And if you're doing it yourself and you're looking for things like templates for guidance and some of those templates that will be useful, how do I put together my application, those kind of things, we do have a number of those available to you. It gets better because we also offer some short one-to-one sessions free. We're only able to do one of these one-to-one sessions per individual today for free because of the number of people that need it. And we advise that before you book this one-to-one session, please use all of these other things that we've talked about that are available. Don't go to that session and waste your time and the coach's time by asking questions like, what is the innovator founder visa? You can Google it. You can use the information pieces and education pieces. You can use eMigr8 AI to answer those ones. Go to that session. Haven't done your research, haven't done your work. Go to that session, to ask questions unique to your perspective. We do have premium offerings on the platform. We do have a premium community. We have personalized coaching services. We have standard package and several others, and also custom services. The way we work is categorized into 3 key categories. Number 1 is the do-it-yourself category, and most of this is free. We do have a few premium options here, but most of our do-it-yourself is free. We have the do it with me option, where you can have someone and holding you through the entire journey. And we have the do it for me option. Now, the do it for me option does not mean you will not do anything at all. No, what it means is that we are going to be able to provide logistics, project management, technical writing, and many of the other things you may need towards submitting a successful application, including the coaching and handholding that is also available under the other packages as well. As you can see, the eMigr8 platform is here to help. If you need any of these, what you need to do is go to emigrate8visa.com/techvisa, and then you can start your journey from there. emigrate8visa.com/techvisa. So eMigr8visa.com/techvisa, and then you can start your journey from there. I need to mention that eMigr8 does not provide immigration advice nor legal advice. We are not immigration consultants. We are not lawyers. Although on the platform, if you do need access to lawyers and immigration consultants, we can signpost you and refer you. eMigr8's unique value proposition is to help you become globally attractive, help you qualify for these opportunities. If you're interested in any of them, you can also send us WhatsApp message on any of the WhatsApp numbers that will display some of them officially and all. We have packages on the platform as well to say, yes, all this coaching, all this handholding, all of these things, there are so many different things available. This is what I want to focus on. This is a specific visa I want to focus on. And you can discuss with an eMigr8 coach, and they will be able to recommend packages for you based on what it is that you're interested in. We have the move to the UK as a global talent that focuses on the UK global talent visa. We have options here for DIY, do it yourself. We have options here for do it with me. We have options here for do it for me. We have the move to the UK as innovator founder, and we have options here as well for do it with me, do it for me, and DIY. We have options of move to the US as a global talent. For these ones, we have a do it for me approach. We don't yet have fully the DIY approach to this. And in some cases, some of these is not advisable to do it yourself. Just to be upfront, it is possible to do it yourself, like the US O1, to file your petition yourself. It is possible. We are just not advising it. Move to Canada as a startup founder. Move this year, the self-start UK route, and there are several options like these that are available on the platform. Download the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. That's where you want to start your journey from. eMigr8 community is available to you as well. Within the community, you can engage, you can like, you can share, you can make comments, and you can discuss all of the things that you're interested in within that community, because there are other like-minded people. We brought that community together. Many of our communities have coaches that are also able to help answer questions and so on. And so that may be a good place for you to go to. And the app is your guide. Your app is that guide that will take your journey from where you are today to where you want to be. Their journey may be 1 month, that journey may be 3 months, that journey may be 1 year. But you want a guide that is able to help you through that entire journey up until when you qualify for the visa, apply successfully for it. And then when you apply successfully, there is also life after the visa. There is a lot of integration that you may need to start thinking about into the new ecosystem, particularly if you are relocating. And also, at some point you may be thinking about settlement, and that is also available on this one platform. As I mentioned, we are focused, laser focused on tech routes today. And so if you are thinking about healthcare routes, or you are thinking about education routes, or you are thinking about a few other routes out there, we don't yet have them today on the platform. We're working hard to bring them onto the platform in the future, but as of today, we are focused on the tech route. I mentioned that you get one free coaching session, but you can get a second one if you use the eMigr8 Visa app for 7 days at a stretch. You actually unlock an extra free coaching session. And so use the app, use the app, use the app. Also, we do offer a referral bonus. So if you refer the eMigr8 Visa app to your friends, to your social network, you would get a gift. You will get £35 in your account on the app, and the person you refer will also get £35 in their account in the app. This is only usable for features and premium offering on the eMigr8 platform, but this may be useful. This would be useful for your journey. And so you can give your family and friends gifts by giving them access. And eMigr8 AI is also available to help. We've trained and fine-tuned AI models based on a number of the knowledge, information that is available to us on the eMigr8 platform. Tens of thousands of hours of information and videos and resources and all of that at the tip of your palm. It's AI-powered precision, is instant insight. Once you put in your profile, you get insights immediately. You will get things like personalization of your journey, and then hand-holding as well. The eMigr8 AI as a coach is helping that journey, and is also helping other coaches on the platform to do more and help many more people, which is part of why we're able to do more and more and more at no cost to you on the eMigr8 platform. eMigr8 platform also brings a number of partners and a strong partner ecosystem to help your journey. And so if your journey requires training, you will find options on the platform. If your journey requires a pre-incubator as part of your journey of becoming a startup founder, you will find that on the platform. If it requires a bootcamp, you find that on the platform. You find signposts to accelerators. If you need lawyers and immigration consultants, if you need financing, you will find that on the platform. If you need access to HR recruiters, executive search, you find on the platform, and then also even policy makers of different countries. We are now extending into that on this one platform. And so with our core around helping you prepare, helping you with a roadmap, helping you with the qualification, navigating the applying, endorsement, the relocation, integration, and settlement, you also get all of these partners in one ecosystem that helps your journey towards being globally attractive. We'll talk about Bincom Dev Center, which is a featured partner, and in fact, the company that incubated eMigr8. If you're looking at tech training, or more like tech talent development, to say, oh, I haven't yet started my journey and I'm interested in just learning and getting into the field of technology, this may be a good place for you to start. With the Bincom Global Tech Program, what it does is it helps you to learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure in the field of technology. If you're an absolute beginner, this is a perfect program for you to start with. If you are already in the field though, and you're at intermediate level, but you recognize that you do have gaps in your profile that you need to fill, this program also helps you, because what you would do is start from a second or third stage, and then you can get to where you want to be using this program as a stepping stone. This is an example of such programs to say within 3 months, you can get from one stage to the next stage of your journey. maybe a newbie to become a beginner, maybe a beginner to become an early intermediate, and so on. You will be able to do that with this program. And this becomes a pathway towards you qualifying for a number of technology visas that are available today and they are looking for you today. If you're an expert in the field, you may want to look at the mentoring platform. The mentoring platform will help you in the sense of showing that you are globally attractive. If you're an expert, it's a highly competitive platform. We need to mention that upfront. So we are not able to bring on board every single person that registers, but we are inviting you to register because we do have an ecosystem of people who are looking for your mentorship if you are an expert already in the field of digital technology. And this also helps your own profile because showing that you're a mentor in such a program helps your profile to say, yes, you are contributing to the ecosystem, yes, you are giving back, and helps your profile of you qualifying for some visas that we talk about on this platform. If you're interested in the startup play, and there are quite a number of visas that are on the startup landscape, you could look at this pre-incubator program called Labs by Bincom. What it does is that it helps you become a startup founder. And the best way to learn to become a startup founder is to actually start a startup yourself. And that's what the pre-incubator program will do for you. It brings you together with 3 to 10 other people who will work together to build a startup from scratch. But that startup must eventually launch an MVP, and that MVP will need to have real life users using the MVP. And so all of a sudden, it becomes a practical learning opportunity that would also improve your portfolio. If you have just service-oriented companies in your profile and you realize that, oh, there are some visas that are looking for me from a startup product-led perspective, like the Global Talent Visa, UK that is, then you can use this kind of program to start building your profile as a startup founder. So you're adding all the skill you have to this kind of pre-incubator to become more and more attractive for such visas. And so if you're interested in that, a new cohort is starting soon. You may want to register at bincom.net/labs. And if you're interested in landing your next role, this will help you land your next role faster. It's the tech career coaching service that brings you with relevant experience in the target country. This is available in the UK today, but we've also launched in Germany and Canada, but we're still working on ramping this up over a period of time. It helps you connection with technical recruiters, particularly if you're looking for jobs that come with work visa sponsorship. This may be a program that you want to take a look at, and this may be a program that would be useful for you. Are you interested in any of these programs? You can drop in the chat. If you're interested in any of these programs I've mentioned, you can drop it in the chat as well. But this is a slide you may want to take a screenshot of. This slide gives an insight into some of the visa opportunities that we talk about on the platform. Just to mention, this is not an exhaustive list of visas. As I mentioned, this platform today, we focus on the tech routes. So not an exhaustive list of visas. But then it is also not an exhaustive list of tech visas. What we are trying to do here is just give you an idea of the lay of the land, of the landscape, so that you start understanding to say all of these opportunities are here. Which one am I targeting? Which one have I already gotten? And then which one is my next stepping stone? You will see that we categorize these visas into 5 key categories. startup, talent-based, work and employment-based, temporary ones, and then others. And the reason for that is because we want you to be able to start seeing the fact that, oh, if I'm not really interested in being a startup founder, I'm not really an entrepreneur, I don't want to become an entrepreneur all just because of a visa, you can look at some of the work-based one. You can look at some of the talent-based ones and so on. So it's up to you ultimately, because if you are globally attractive, you have options. And so on the UK, you will find that if you start off from a startup perspective, the UK Innovator Founder Visa is available. The Canada Startup Visa is available. And there are differences even in this, because with the UK Innovator Founder Visa, all you need is an idea. And you need an idea that has been adjudged as innovative, viable, and scalable. The idea will need to have a business plan, and that business plan will need to be endorsed by an endorsing body. But you don't have to have started your startup. However, with the Canada Startup Visa, your startup must already have good traction in your home economy. So you will have started, you will have done some work, you will have had your early customers, and you will have started having traction at the point when you go to the Canadian authorities, their endorsing bodies, and say, oh, my startup is doing well. I would like to now take it further. I want to take it global. I want to go global with this startup, and I want to use Canada as a stepping stone to do so. And Canada will say, yes, we're open. Come to our jurisdiction. Bring this your idea to our jurisdiction. Come and license it in our jurisdiction because we need this your idea. And there are several of these as well. Talent-based. We have the UK Global Talent Visa. We have the USO1 visa. And we have the French Tech Visa and Germany EU Blue Card Visa. And they are all available if you show yourself as being globally attractive. If you show yourself as being globally attractive, then you could get this visa. In fact, if you show yourself as having a potential of being globally attractive, you can get this visa. Because with the UK Global Talent Visa, there are two categories. There's the exceptional talent category, which means that you are already a talent. But then there's the exceptional promise category, which means that, oh, you have the potential of becoming a talent over a period of time. We believe that an absolute beginner, you have not done anything at all, you can actually become exceptional promise within a 2-year period. But the truth is that if you have transferable skills, if you've done some things in your career, if you've done some things before, some of those things may count, and that can reduce your timeline to 1 year or even below 1 year. So this option is also available, and there are several of them across this landscape. Then we have the work or employment-based visas. With the UK, if you land a job, you can get the UK skilled worker visa. In the US, you can use the US H1 visa, H1B1, but that's a lottery. And there are other options as well across the world. Recently, we talked about some of the digital nomad visas to say if you want to move from your own country and maybe you are not yet quite qualified for some of these other opportunities that we're talking about, you could actually look at the digital nomad visa in Malta, in Spain, in Portugal, and many others. Germany would give you the job seeker visa to say if you are able to show you can afford your cost of living, you can actually move to Germany for 6 months to 1 year. We've talked about all of these visas on this platform, and there are several resources that can help you if you're interested in any of these routes. We also have coaches that can guide you through the journey or guide you to say, have you looked at this option? Have you looked at this option? And so on. We also have other categories as well. So there are some investment-based visas. If you're an entrepreneur, you could look at the UK self-sponsorship route. It's not a visa by itself, just to be clear. The self-sponsorship route is actually a way to land the UK skilled worker visa. But instead of you chasing after employers, you become your own employer. So I'll pause here and I'll ask us on the call, and if you're on the call, to say which one of these options are you most interested in? Which one of these on the landscape are you most interested in? What's item one that you are most interested in? What's item two and item three? So I want you to drop three options to say I'm most interested in this, and this, right? I'm asking you to do that on the call for those of us attending live. And if you're watching the replay video, I'm asking you to do this as well. Tell us in the comments which one of these options are you most interested in. I'm going to pause here for a moment and asking everyone to put 2 to 3 options that they are most interested in these visa opportunities. Thank you to those that participated. Please keep it coming. We're interested in knowing, so that way we can also tailor some of these conversations towards your specific interests. Thank you. I see multiple options: global talent, self-sponsorship, USA route. I see work-based and employment-based. I see O1 visa, French tech visa. Keep them coming. Let us know what option you are most interested in, or a few options that you're interested in, so that way we'll also be able to tailor some of our offerings towards your particular interests. And if you're watching the replay video, please drop it in the comment. One of the community administrators will be looking at your post and will be able to make comments as well from your posts. Regardless of any one of the options that you've picked, there is a common denominator. And that common denominator is this: if you are globally attractive, you have options. If you are globally attractive, you have options. Now, for different ones of these visa opportunities that we've talked about, and we're going to talk about a number of them during this session today, because we are focusing on 5 routes that you can use for the UK, and we will discuss how a beginner can get access to these routes. But regardless of any one of them, a common denominator is be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you would have options of these visas. And that's what we help you to become on the eMigr8 platform. In terms of specific visas, we focus at the moment on visa pathways that are pathways to settlement in your destination economy. Now, sometimes those pathways may be indirect pathways to settlement, but sometimes they may be direct pathways to settlement. We focus on pathways in which you can move with your family. We focus on pathways where you, as a beginner, you can plan. Or if you're already an expert, if you're already qualified, then fantastic. These pathways are pathways where we can help you navigate putting in a successful application. For many of these pathways, we've done detailed sessions, giving a lot of information. We don't get information here. We give as much information as possible free. We're focused on informing you, educating you, inspiring you, because we want you to become globally attractive. And that's why I said earlier that over 80% of what we do here is actually free. And so you can use the free offering to start with. And if you need a little extra, yes, you can pay for a premium offering here and there as needed, but this is all available to you. For many of these pathways, we discuss them in depth in different eMigr8 Open Day sessions. Of course, those sessions are general because we have 50 to 100 people on the sessions typically, and thousands of people watching the replay video. And so they are general, but then you have access to one-to-one conversations with coaches if you want additional information on your unique circumstance. If you're also working towards an application, you have access to coaches that can handhold you through the journey. This is another one of those free resources that I mentioned, and this is the eMigr8 Tech Visa Landscape. What the team had done is to do in-depth research in multiple countries, not just the few that I showed earlier, but several countries, over 10 countries, to say what are the different visa pathways, what are the visa pathways available for newbies, for beginners, for intermediate, for experts. What are the qualification criteria? What is the roadmap towards being able to get this visa? What are the costs for this visa pathway? What are hidden costs? Because sometimes they may show you a cost, but then they don't show you hidden costs. So they show you visa application fee, but they don't show you what the IHS surcharge will be per individual, per family, and that becomes a huge burden. What are those hidden costs? What are the pathways to settlement? We've detailed it in this eMigr8 Tech Visa Landscape, and we've made it available for you on the platform for free. All you have to do is download the app and you get access and log into the app. You get access to this pathway that gives you a lot of information, and that could become part of the resources that you would use to start your journey. Now, if you say, I don't yet qualify, what should you be doing? What we believe you should start with is you should have a roadmap for yourself. Your journey may be you're at a newbie to become beginner, beginner to intermediate, intermediate to expert, and then to become globally attractive. There are different visas at different stages of this journey, as you will see very shortly. But what we believe you should be doing is that you should have a roadmap for yourself. And this is part of what the eMigr8 platform will help you build. A roadmap of where you are, where you want to be, and how you want to get there. The journey may not be smooth, may not be a straight line, but the fact that you have targeted something and you are going towards it gradually, and you know that, oh, if I take this step and I take this next step and I take this next step, I will qualify at this point in time, and then I can continue going in my pathway of what you're passionate about, your pathway towards being globally attractive. And so that then brings us to the 5 routes to relocate and settle in the UK. But before I go on, I would ask to say what I've been talking for a few minutes now, more than a few minutes, in fact. Was there any part of this that resonated with you? Drop it in the chat. Was there any part of this that you felt like, oh, this was nice hearing this? Let us know in the chat. Was there any part of this? Tell us which part it was. We would like that feedback because it helps us as well to continue tailoring our messaging on the eMigr8 platform. Was there anything that we said so far that you felt like, oh, it is wrong? Stop saying that, for example. Let us know. Is there any part that you felt like, oh, this is good, this is instructive? Let us know as well in the chat, and then we'll be right back in a moment, just taking a water break. Let us know in the chat which part of what we said so far was instructive to you, which part was informative to you, what was it that you felt like, oh, yes, it was good to hear this, and then we'll drill down into these 5 pathways that we want you to think about in a moment. Let us know, let us know, let us know. For those just joining us, you're welcome. You're welcome to eMigr8 Tech Visa platform. And what we've been doing earlier was just to explain the resources, what eMigr8 brings to the table, what you can do as regards your journey towards being globally attractive. We were asking that let us know which part of all of these was informative or instructive to you, so that way we also start getting a bit of feedback from you as regards our conversation today. Don't forget, we said that if you stay to this on this call till the end, we do have a gift for you, and we'll let you know the gift towards the end of today's session. Don't forget also, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. There would not be time to bring you on stage to ask live questions during this edition. However, you can drop them in the chat and we will take as many questions as possible, and we can continue the conversation in the community. And also with your use of the app, it would help your particular journey. And so I'm hoping to see many more. I've seen some of you. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the feedback. I'm hoping to see many more people giving feedback as to what have you heard so far, what was instructive, what was informative, what was inspiring. And that way, it also helps us to keep track of what we should do better. And so 5 routes to relocate and settle in the UK. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. The first of these routes, before we go into the route, I need to explain a few things. We are not just talking about visa categories. So this is the part where I stop sharing my screen. We are talking about different routes. And the reason why it's important to think of them as routes is because although it may be a specific visa that you will land at the end of the day, or maybe you're targeting different visas in one of the routes that we will talk about, at the end of the day, there are specific visa categories visas that you will get, which we call like visa categories. For these routes, I'm going to start by just explaining the different visas. Then I would then talk about how a beginner could get to this visa over a period of time. Some of these routes require time. And so please don't go, oh, if I don't qualify now and I won't qualify tomorrow, I'm not interested. For some people, what they end up not doing is that they have 1 year, maybe even 2 years on post-study visa, and this is just as an example, and they spend that time saying, oh, it is still far, 2 years is a long time. Meanwhile, if you start doing some things now, you will qualify for your next visa in a year's time. And so some people wait till when it is 2 weeks to their visa expiring before they now say, oh, what can I do now? Sometimes that may be too late, because for many of these options that we're looking at, there are options where you have to be globally attractive. These are not options where you will just fake it. No, we don't do that here. Sorry. These are options where we're saying that you can become qualified, and then you present yourself to say, yes, I'm one of the qualified people. I want to stay or I want to move to the UK because I'm one of the people that you're looking for. Those are the kinds of people that we support, and those are the kinds of profiles that we support on the eMigr8 platform. From an eMigr8 perspective, there are 3 key ways in which we support. We support on a DIY perspective, which is a do-it-yourself perspective. We support on a do-it-with-me perspective. And we support on a do-it-for-me perspective. And so DIY, most of that is free on the platform. And there are a lot of different resources that are available, a lot of different tools that are available. And with eMigr8 AI, which is an AI, really powerful, very proud of it. With eMigr8 AI, it would also help that journey from a do-it-yourself perspective. From a do-it-with-me perspective, it would be around the AI plus human coaches and holding you through the entire journey. Many of these coaches that have done the journey themselves in the past, many of these coaches that have helped several tens of and even hundreds of people navigate the same journey and holding you through the entire process towards you qualifying and applying successfully. And with the doing it for me approach, which is the third of the three I mentioned, we then take that further. You get those coaches, that are able to help you. You get all the handholding, but then a lot of the heavy lifting, some project management, technical writing, logistics, a lot of those heavy lifting, you also get them done for you. However, just to be clear, when we say do it for me, it's not we are not saying that you will still not be a globally attractive talent. At the core of it is that you become globally attractive. You qualify. You as an individual qualify, and because you qualify, then you are able to apply successfully for these visa opportunities. And so just to caveat on that, as we go to the first of the 5 routes that we are drilling down to today. And the first of those 5 routes is the UK Innovator Founder Visa. With the UK Innovator Founder Visa, the visa is available if you're a genuine entrepreneur. You're a startup founder that has an idea that is adjudged as innovative, viable, and scalable. What has happened is that the UK government has named 4 endorsing bodies. There used to be about over 60 of them in the past, but now there are just 4 endorsing bodies who you will approach with your idea. And you would approach them with your idea, and they will review your idea and decide whether or not they can endorse your idea as innovative, viable, and scalable. If you get that endorsement, you can then take that endorsement to the UK Home Office, who are the ones in charge of issuing the actual visa, for you to get a visa to move to the UK or a visa to switch and settle in the UK, depending on what your circumstance is. The visa you will get, the terms of the visa would allow you to work in other companies. You can actually now work full-time as long as you are spending time to build your startup. So that's the visa you will get, which is the UK Innovator Founder Visa. I need to quickly mention that the previous version of the visa, which was simply the UK Innovator Visa, no founder there, UK Innovator Visa, required you to have an investment of £50,000. You no longer, that investment requirement has been removed, but I need to put a caveat there, because now the endorsing body needs to check to say how much money does your startup need, particularly for the first year or maybe first and second year. So if your business plan says your startup only needs £5,000, then you have to show that you are able to afford £5,000. If your business plan shows that you need £100,000, then you have to show how you will be able to make up that £100,000. So I need to explain that. It's also required now that you show that you are a genuine founder. Because with the old visa, with the UK startup visa and with the UK innovator visa, some people were applying because their visa was running out. And so they were just applying not because they really wanted to build a startup, but because their visa was running out. So you need to show now that you're actually a genuine founder, that you're interested in building a startup in the UK. And there are different strategies to that we can show you on the platform in terms of you being able to apply successfully for these visa because we have a number of successes for these visa routes. If you're already a startup founder and your startup is doing very well or even marginally well, but your startup has good traction, you may want to look at this opportunity as well. Because for startup founders, although the visa is available, even if your startup is idea only, right? If it's just idea and you have a business plan for it, you can get the visa. We have a number of successes like that. But it's even easier for you if you have a startup that is already doing well in your own country. And what you're looking at doing is, oh, I want to move this startup to the UK, or I want to expand this startup to the UK, or I want to expand this startup globally, and I want to use the UK as a launching pad. Basically, if you're looking at going global, this may be a route that you want to look at as well. Your startup must meet those three criteria. Your startup must be innovative, it must be viable, it must be scalable. We've drilled down into these routes and we have resources on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform that will help you discover this route and also start preparing adequately for these routes. And so that's the UK Innovator Founder Visa. Now to say to, okay, let's go to the next visa route. I was going to ask a question of the audience, but okay, let me ask the audience and then we'll decide. Should we talk about how a beginner can qualify for these routes now, or should we talk about the next visa, all five, and then talk about how beginners can qualify for each one by one? Which one would you prefer? I was going to ask the audience earlier. Al, please. Okay, I'm waiting for a few more. Which one? All five then go, and then we'll go on from there. Okay. The next one, please. Okay. Um, one more. Waiting. Okay. All right. So we'll come back to how a beginner would qualify for these visa routes. The next visa route we'll talk about is the UK skilled worker visa. That's the next one we'll talk about. And you would notice that with the UK skilled worker visa route, it's not only for the field of digital technology. However, on this platform, as we've mentioned earlier, we're currently focused on technology routes. And when we say tech, as I've tried to emphasize today, we are not just saying the technical side of tech, we're also saying the non-technical side of tech, the business skills side of technology. And so on the technical side of tech, you can be a software developer, you can be a DevOps engineer, you can be an infrastructure engineer, SysOps, cybersecurity expert, and so on the technical side of tech. But then you can be on the business side of tech as well. You can be a business analyst, you can be a product manager, project manager, service manager, digital marketer, sales expert, and a lot of those other skills on the non-technical side of technology. There are many jobs in that ecosystem that you could qualify for and that you could apply for. There are not many roles, and there are not, when we say the skilled worker visa, you have to be skilled. And so this is not the visa where you would be an absolute beginner and you expect that you can land the visa. It happens once in a while, but your chances are higher if you are at least at the intermediate level. There are less competition there as well anyway, and your chances is much higher if you're at the expert level. Now, for this route, what you need is that you need to land a job that would offer you something called the certificate of sponsorship. You will need to get hired by an employer, and there are different methods to that. We'll talk about that when we talk about beginners qualifying. And when you land that job, then you are able to move. And in some cases, if you land jobs that are at least 38,000 pounds and above, which is the kinds of jobs you would land as an expert in the field of technology anyway, then you can move with your family as well. Before now, you could move with your family even with a lower salary threshold, but the UK has made a number of immigration changes over a period of time. And so we, on this platform, we typically target jobs that are at least 40,000 pounds per year and above. All right. So those are the kinds of jobs that you would likely be targeting. And so in terms of landing the roles, how do you land a job? Very simple, right? Apply and then you get the job, correct? Technically, yes. But in that whole process of applying and getting the job, there are several different steps in the process. You are competing with other people. Many people don't like to think of it that way, but you are actually competing with a number of other people who are experts, who are intermediate, who are also, in some cases, suitable for that role. And so you have to start thinking about how to optimize your chances at the different steps of that journey. I need to mention that the job market at this moment is still a bit iffy. It's not as easy as it was to land a job that would come with sponsorship 2 or 3 years ago, I need to mention, but people are still landing roles that come with sponsorship in the field of technology based on their merits. At every stage of that process of landing the role, there are different things you should do. And I'm already talking about what beginners should do. So let me just move on at that point. So the next visa, UK skilled worker visa. If you land this visa, you won't be able to work full time for anybody else in the UK, right? With the UK system, your NI, your tax code, your NI and all of that is actually tied to different things in the HMRC and all. So it's actually easy for the authorities to know because they talk to each other now. They weren't doing that 10 years ago. For them to know if you are working or you are working against the terms of your visa. You can work 20 hours with other employers. And recently, you can actually work 20 hours outside your occupation code. Occupation code is that the UK has created a register to see every type of job that can ever exist in the UK. They have a code for that job, and you can find this online. What you want to do is, what is your occupation code, for example, for your own skill and your own expert skill, or maybe a number of expert skills, because in some cases, you may be a skilled product manager and also a skilled project manager, right? But it is very rare for you to be a skilled medical doctor and also a skilled architect at the same time. Very rare. And so you need to know what your skills are. You need to apply for a job within those skill area. You need to land that job, and that employer will be able to sponsor your visa. In the past, employers would also, and they still do, at least I know at least one person, they still do, would sponsor your relocation in addition to even sponsoring your visa. A couple of risks. One of them is that should you lose your job, you would have 60 days to find a new job or a new visa sponsorship if you want to stay in the UK. This is important to note because a few people are coming to the eMigr8 platform now because they were safe. They had the right visa, but then all of a sudden they were made redundant in their job. And then now they need to figure out the visa they can use to stay. Meanwhile, if they had been preparing themselves, they may have been able to switch much easier to the next visa option that I'm going to talk about. And so, as we've agreed on this session, we will talk about all 5 visas, and then we'll come back to talk about what you should be doing if you're an absolute beginner in the field. The next visa I'll talk about is the UK Global Talent Visa. And the UK Global Talent Visa, they call it like the gold standard in visas because it's one of the ones that gives, and it's tier 1 as well, is one of the ones that gives a lot of benefits to individuals who qualify for this visa. The UK Global Talent Visa is also not only for people in digital technology, but as I've said, we focus on the field of digital technology here. And so you can have it for fashion, art and culture, research, and all of that, but we are focused on digital technology. What you need to show is that you are a leading talent in your field of digital technology. If you are able, and there are different criteria that they've put together to help you show that or for you to show that. For example, hypothetically, if you won the Nobel Prize, then the UK believes that you are qualified. You don't need to show anything else. Because you have the Nobel Prize, you are qualified for this visa. And so they have something called the fast track route for people that have won any one of the awards that are listed. You can go check that online. But you don't have to win the Nobel Prize to qualify for the UK Global Talent Visa. What they want to see is that you are a leading talent in your field of digital technology. There are 5 criteria, and out of those 5, you need to qualify under 3 out of the 5 criteria. The first is show that you're a leading talent. The second is, and these are 4 optional criteria. OC1 is innovation, show proof of innovation in your field. OC2 is recognition, show proof of recognition. OC3 is significant contribution or impact. OC4 is academic excellence. In terms of the visa itself, there are 2 categories. There's the exceptional talent, which is the higher category, which is 3 years to permanent residency, 3 years to ILR. And then there's the exceptional promise category, which is 5 years to ILR or 5 years to permanent residency. With the exceptional promise criteria, what you need in terms of exceptional promise criteria is to show that you have the potential of becoming a leading talent in your field. With the exceptional talent one, what you have to show is that you are already an exceptional talent in your field. On this platform, we believe, and we've proven it multiple times, that within a 2-year period, you can become exceptional promise, regardless of where you are in your journey today. It is possible. We've seen it happen, and we've proven it on this platform multiple times. Your journey could even be shorter if you're already in the field of technology and you already have some of the things that would qualify. You can then plot a roadmap from where you are today to qualifying over a period of time. We are not saying fake it till you make it all. We are saying become globally attractive, and then go show to them to say, yes, I'm one of these people that is adding value in my ecosystem, and I can continue to add that value in the UK. Not everybody qualifies, and not everybody will qualify for this visa. So please understand that clearly. But you can qualify. What the UK wants is if I line up 10 PHP developers, I want the first top one, top two, maybe top three to qualify and move to the UK. If I line up 20 business analysts or 20 product managers, I want the top one, top two, maybe top three to be able to move to the UK. Now, there are a couple of caveats. They clearly state in the conditions to say if you are working in service organization, you by default do not qualify. It has to be that you're working in product-led digital technology. Interestingly, Australia in December 2024 launched the Australia National Innovation Visa, which is based on the UK Global Talent Visa. Similar criteria because they've seen the success of the UK Global Talent Visa, and different countries are also copying the same. Another country I can't mention, but we're privy to know will be launching, most likely not this year, next year, they will be launching a similar visa as well. So gold standard in visa, it is not the easiest to qualify for, but however, if you qualify for it, you stand a good chance of doing a lot in the UK. The visa allows you to do anything you want to do in the UK. So unlike the innovator founder visa, where you have to focus on your job, on your startup, or the UK skilled worker visa, where you have to focus on your job, with the global talent visa, which is category 3 we are talking about at the moment, with the UK global talent visa, you can do anything you want to do. There are only 2 exceptions I'm aware of, which is you can't be a sports person and you can't be a doctor. Those are the 2 exceptions. Aside from that, you can do anything else you want to do in the UK. With the skilled worker visa, for example, you can't really open your own business in the UK with the skilled worker visa. There are nuances to it, so don't quote me exactly, but with the global talent visa, you can do that. You can do startup, you can go to school, you can do a PhD, you can do whatever it is you want to do in the UK, you can do with the global talent visa. It gives you a lot of flexibility. And so of the 3 we mentioned so far, if you're aspiring, we would say aspire for that one, but not everybody would qualify because it depends on your background. If your background has been consulting all your career and you have over 20 years in consulting and you're one of the leaders in the field, by default, the policy already excludes you. But interestingly, if you are working as a technologist in a non-technology firm, you could qualify. And so you can check the criteria. The endorsing body for UK Global Talent Visa at the moment is TechNation, is the endorsing body. And that's the reason why this visa is also sometimes referred to as the Tech Nation visa. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. We will take as many questions as possible. We will take as many questions as possible. Please drop them in the chat, and as we go on to the next one of the visa opportunity. We agreed already to say we will come back to each one of these to then talk about what a beginner can do to qualify or start working towards qualifying for these visa opportunities over a period of time. The fourth route we'll talk about is the UK self-sponsorship route. And the UK self-sponsorship route is also not a visa category. The UK self-sponsorship route, the visa you will get at the end of this explanation I'm saying, is the UK skilled worker visa, which is the second one of the 5 we are talking about today. But there is a main difference, which is why it's a different route from our perspective. The main difference is that you are your own employer. Or let me put it this way. your company that you own over 50% equity in is the employer that would employ you in the UK to run that business. It has advantages of you not having to run after employers for COS or and things like that. It has advantages of you not having to worry about if you lose your job and all, but you have to be a genuine entrepreneur. You have to be self-employed to be able to use this particular route. The reason is because you are creating a company, but that company must be able to still pay you as a skilled worker in the UK. What that means is either you are investing heavily in your company so that it can pay your salary and then you can pay your NI and your taxes and so on. You are investing heavily in the company, or the company is generating revenue in such a level that it can pay you. And so the way that works is that you create a company, and I must mention here to say, please, there are wrong ways of doing self-sponsorship routes. Don't pay someone to create a company for you and things like that. It will give you problems in the future. And in some cases, those people can hold you to ransom. And so you might as well have just gone to skilled worker visa in the first place. You own your company. For multiple reasons, you won't be able to own 100% of the company, but you can own 90%, 95%, 80% of the company, right? You own your company and you are the person of significant control in the company. These are keywords that you can Google. And then you approach the Home Office to get what is called the certificate of sponsorship to allow you to become a sponsor, to allow you to be able to sponsor people in the UK. And then that can then become the way you sponsor, your company then sponsors you as a skilled worker in the UK. There are different things there to say you need a UK director. And you can do this even if you're not based in the UK today, even if you're in your home country, you can actually look at the self-sponsorship route. This is not one of the routes where I would say advice to say do it yourself. I wouldn't do it myself because there are several different steps in the way. And also you want people that have actually done it before multiple times with multiple people. And you also want people that understand the different pathways that you need to take to be able to do this particular route. But yes, this is a route that is available, and we don't think the route will be cancelled. We don't know, but we don't think so. Immigration policy allows it today. It is legal. This is not under the carpet or anything like that. The Home Office is aware. The Home Office will be aware of who owns the company. It's not a case of you're hiding from the Home Office. However, you must continue running your company. You also cannot work for anybody else in the UK except you do 20 hours part-time work. Full-time, you cannot work for anybody else because your full-time work is you working with your own company. It doesn't also have to be a technology company, but we are biased towards technology, as I said earlier. In fact, we actually support other businesses that are not technology, because with those other businesses, you can also add technology, add AI, add all of those to those kinds of companies as well. So that's a route that you could look at, and that's a route that could also help you with your ambition to relocate to the UK and settle in the UK. As I said, this is a route available even if you are not in the UK today. It's a route that is available for you to use. And as I also said, this route is not a different visa category. There's no visa in the UK called UK self-sponsorship visa. It is a route that will help you land the UK skilled worker visa, but with you yourself or your own company are being your own employer. The fifth route we'll talk about is a package that we've put together on the eMigr8 platform called the Settle in the UK as a Tech Talent. And that's the fifth route we'll be talking about today. Settle in the UK as a tech talent. And what we do with this route is that we actually target your profile towards 3 visas at the same time. So technically speaking, it means that you are not yet qualified for any one of those visas. The UK Global Talent Visa, and in this order of priority, UK Global Talent Visa, UK Skilled Worker Visa, and UK Innovator Founder Visa, with the eMigr8 guarantee that you would get at least one of these visas. And the reason why we can give a triple guarantee in that sense is because we have over 90% success rate in these visa opportunities. Also, we screen the people that we allow to come on this particular package. So we are not able to take every single individual on our premium package for Settle in the UK. Our playbook for this, however, we have it available and we've shared in eMigr8 Open Day sessions. As I mentioned, for every one of these routes I've mentioned, we've done 1.5 hour, 2 hours, 3 hour session giving details of these routes. And all of this is available on the eMigr8 Tech Visa platform and available on the eMigr8 Tech Visa app. So with this route, what we do is that regardless of where you are today, if you're an absolute beginner, to say you've never done anything in the field of technology before, we're able to work with you on a personalized roadmap to get you from where you are to a roadmap that will allow you qualify for each one of these visas at different certain points in time. And the roadmap would involve multiple things. The roadmap will involve a lot of things from you. It's a full-fledged program that requires you to dedicate a minimum of 10 hours every week to the program. But what happens with the program is that with that program, you become a tech talent. So if you're an absolute beginner, it will start with you just learning technology in an expert skill, and we will work together with you to choose an expert skill. Why would we do that? Because if you are not an absolute novice, you would have had other experiences in your career. Those other experiences will shorten the journey because you would have transferable skills. I come from Nigeria, and I say to people that if you grew up in Nigeria, you worked in Nigeria. That is, if you're a professional in Nigeria at one time or the other, you have probably done business analysis. You may not know it was called business analysis, some of the tasks that you were doing in your actual professional work, but you've done that before because in a lot of developing economies, you tend to be a generalist. You tend to be graphics designer, UI, UX, and everything together. You tend to be everything to everyone. In many economies of the world, developed economies of the world, they are looking for specialists. If you're a product manager, you are not also project manager. There are 2 different roles. If you are Scrum Master, you are not also business analyst. There are 2 different roles. And so there's expertise involved there. But that is something that is an advantage to you in these routes because you may have transferable skills that would reduce your journey from where you are to you qualifying for these different visa opportunities. Of course, you have to be able to talk the talk. You need to be able to know the keywords. You need to be able to know the things that need the expertise. You need to be able to pass interviews. You need to be able to own your own when you get into real life scenarios where you have to deal with this. But what we do is we chart that pathway to say you could qualify for the UK Global Talent Visa at a certain point in time in this journey. You can qualify for the UK Skilled Worker Visa at a certain point in this journey. You can qualify for the UK Innovator Founder Visa at a certain point in this journey. And so if you notice that with the UK Innovator Founder Visa, you would have to build a startup. With the UK Global Talent Visa, you need to be visible in your field. You will need to be building your profile to become globally attractive talent. With the UK Skilled Worker Visa, you will need to start working towards you landing roles in your field of digital technology. So those are 5 routes that we've talked about. which route or routes would you be most interested in? And when we come back, what we'll be doing is now drilling down a little bit more into what a beginner can do to qualify for each one of these routes. And I'll also talk about some resources available on the eMigr8 platform for each one of these routes. And so we'd like to hear from you. Which route are you most interested in? Which routes resonated the most with you? Which routes were you like, oh, interesting, tell me more about this and all of that? Let us know in the chat. Which route are you most interested in? The five that we talked about, in the order we talked about them, was we talked about the UK Innovator Founder Visa. We talked about the UK Skilled Worker Visa. We talked about the UK Global Talent Visa. We talked about the UK Self Sponsorship route. And we talked about the Settle in the UK as a tech talent package that is available on the eMigr8 platform. Which ones were you most interested in? And then we'll be right back again. Don't forget, we said if you wait on this call till the end, we do have a gift for you and we'll let you know the gift shortly. And also, please drop in the chat what you are most interested in. And so that way we would be able to continue the conversation. When we come back, we'll drill down into what a beginner can do to qualify for each one of these routes. We're back. Um, Don't forget, we would like to hear from you. Drop in the chat. Also, if you have questions, we're coming towards the end of today's edition of eMigr8 Open Day. We look like we're going to go over the 2-hour mark at this point, but hopefully this is useful. If this is useful so far, please drop in the chat as well. Give us feedback. Let us know that we are actually making some sort of impact. Let us know in the chat if this has been useful to you so far. Good. So we're then coming back to discuss these routes again. But this time around, what we would do is, I'm not going to explain the route again. What we will do now is just to talk about what you should be doing as a beginner for each one of these routes and giving you pointers to some of the tools available on the platform for the route and what you should be doing if you are looking at qualifying for these routes. Okay. I asked earlier to say, let us know which route were you most interested in, because that also helps me to focus on those routes as we talk to the beginners in the room in terms of what you should be doing if you are looking at qualifying for these routes. I'm seeing fifth route, fourth and fifth route, global talent and self-sponsorship. Thank you. Keep them coming. Let us know what you are most interested in. It helps us as well. All right. So the first of the five that we talked about was the Innovator Founder Visa. Innovator Founder Visa. I'm not going to go over the visa itself again in terms of the requirement. What you need to do is that you need to start a startup. But before you start the startup, you need to think of an idea that will be adjudged as innovative, viable, and scalable. And sometimes when you think about that, don't let it become daunting to you. Innovative is doing something in a different way. That is innovative. That can actually be innovative. Don't also say, oh, I'm not in tech at all. Remember, we said that it's a field of technology. You can, whatever profession that you're doing, you can bring that your profession into a technology startup. So for example, if you're a lawyer, you can build something around legal tech because you come with domain expertise. You can have other people partner with you to give you technology expertise, maybe even product development expertise and all of that, because you can come from that domain expertise to build something that can change the world. In terms of ideas, don't also say I don't really have ideas and all of that, because the truth is that you would have encountered problems at work today, last week, last year, 10 years ago. There are several issues that you will have found that you could possibly solve. Also, you can look at things like idea banks. So we have idea banks of different ideas that you can look at to say, oh, fine, I'm passionate about solving this particular problem. It's important that whatever idea you come up with is an idea that you are passionate about. The reason is because the terms of your visa is that you must build that idea, and you must continue building that idea. So you can't just say, "Oh, I've gotten the visa, I'm no longer interested in this idea." No, you have to always continue building on that idea, which is to say that you are not building the next Uber or the next Airbnb or the next successful startup. Recently, we sold to Google for billions of dollars, which is to say you are not the one building that next company. You have to also be a genuine founder. And you can join a pre-incubator. I talked about our labs, and this is Labs by Bincom, for example, to help you start learning what are the rudimentaries of being a startup founder. For example, if I say MVP, do you know what that means? If I say growth hacking, seed funding, Series A, Series B, ADL, and so on, do you know what all of those things mean? You can learn those things in a month. You can learn those things in 2 months, maximum 3 months. You can become a genuine founder. And so, absolute beginner, that's where you want to start. Learn to build a startup. And the best way to learn to build a startup is to build a startup. You will pick up all of the things that you need over a period of time. Then you have to come up with that idea. And as I said, you can think about the problems that you've seen in the past. You can look at idea banks, and you can look at trending technology. Whatever career you are doing today, just add AI on top of it, because AI is a trending technology, particularly Gen AI. I've been in the field of AI for over 10 years, right? But generative AI is more recent, and generative AI is changing landscape. Some of the tools that you use on a day-to-day basis, somebody is going to build a Gen AI tool that could change the way your industry works, regardless of what industry of expertise that you are in. Why can't it be you that is building that? Why can't you use that to apply for your visa? It's possible. It is possible. We've seen many people do it. We can help you do it. And that's the journey. The journey would go from you ideating to you incubating that idea. And if possible, you can also start acceleration for the idea. You can start trying to get into accelerators like the Y Combinators of this world, like the Techstars of this world, like the 500 startups of this world. But there are several. Those are the bigger accelerators, but there are several others that are not as big. What you really need is to get into one of them. There are thousands of these accelerators. If you get into one of them, maybe two, you are closer to getting your visa. And that's even at the idea stage. If you build your startup and your startup has started having traction, and this is to startup founders already, you may want to look at something like the Global Entrepreneur Program, GEP, and we can introduce you to GEP on the eMigr8 platform, just to say. And that's a program that the UK government has created to bring successful founders to the UK. And guess what visa they will give you? Innovator founder visa. But that would be at level where your startup already has traction. If your startup doesn't yet have traction or is still at the idea stage, you have options. You have options of 3 other endorsing bodies who can look at your idea and decide whether or not they want to endorse. They will look at you too to say, does this person profile meet a genuine founder, or is this person just looking for a visa because they are for visa sake or because their visa is running out? The visa is available because you say and they believe that you want to actually build a startup that can become the next big thing. But we all know in the startup industry that 9 out of every 10 startups will fail. 9 out of every 10 startups. So don't be afraid of failure. In fact, the UK government policy already understands that. They will give you that visa because they want you to try. Even if you fail, the fact that you will be able to move with in the UK, because the chances of success is higher in the UK than your home country. In some cases, not in all cases, don't get me wrong. In some cases, the chances of success is higher. And so you can move to the UK, use that as a stepping stone for your own ambition of moving from your own country. But at the same time, you're also edging your risk in the sense that you can build the next big thing. You never know. You never know. And so that's the Innovator Founder Visa. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. And I'm going to move on to the next visa. I'm not doing well with time at all. I do apologize for that. And to my other stakeholders that are watching this, I do apologize, but we'll move on to the next one. UK Skilled Worker Visa, as I said, I'm not going to drill down into the visa again. Instead, what I'm just going to do is then talk about what you should be doing as a beginner. So as a beginner in this, what you want to start with is you want to start with becoming skilled. You want to pick a particular skill, whether on the technical side of tech or on the business side of tech. Just to say, if you're already a professional with like 10 years of experience outside tech, what is best for you to pick is something close to what you have already been doing. So for example, if you've been doing project management, but in the field of construction, it is easier for you to become a technology, not a technical product manager now, a project manager in the field of technology, than for you to start becoming a software developer from scratch. So you also may want to be a bit sensible and realistic in terms of the occupation codes or occupation code that you pick to target. And of course, if you need some coaching around that, that is available on the platform. I've already explained a lot is free, some is paid. All right. So you have to pick an occupation code. You need to pick a career. You need to decide that, okay, fine, I want to transfer into this field of technology. Once you pick that career, you have to learn from the basics. And I'm sorry to say that, yes, you are going to be learning the same thing as a 20-year experienced person. You are going to be learning the same thing that some people that are 0 years experience, some people that are still in school are learning. Don't mind that. It's just what it is. You are learning new skills. They are learning new skills. So you learn as much as possible. As you are learning, we encourage you to learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure at the same time. And I've talked about, and this is an advertising plug again, I've talked about the Bincom Global Tech Program that combines that into one big bucket for you. There are other ways you can learn. You can learn by yourself. You can learn online using YouTube videos. If you have the right discipline, you can do that and so on. But then you will need the experience. There's a catch-22 there to say a number of times you don't get the experience because you don't have the experience, then you don't get the experience because you don't have the experience. But there are ways in which to break out of that cycle. Volunteering programs, internship programs, apprenticeship program, maybe some freelancing and so on. Where any way you want to find it, you must gain the experience that you need. Your experience, you will need reference because most genuine employers, when you go through the interview process, and I'll come to that in a moment, eventually they will ask for references to say, yes, you say you're a business analyst for the last 4 years. Give me references from the employer. So please don't go and lie a lie that you cannot back up because although you've gone through the entire process and you do have the job, now you are struggling to find the right references on it. People lie on their CV is all I'm saying. Don't go and lie on your CV. Make sure that everything you're saying are things that you can back up. Once you've done that, then you will become open to new opportunities. Once you are open to new opportunities, you would have profiles, you would have a CV, and you would have your LinkedIn. LinkedIn is really popular right now because you can land roles in LinkedIn as well. You will need to actively apply for roles. And you should target roles that would have sponsorship if that's what you're looking for, and that's what we're discussing there anyway. You should target those kinds of roles that have sponsorship. There is a list, it's a public list of all employers, about 40,000 of them that have the certificate of sponsorship in the UK. You can start by targeting that list. There are other ways in which you can network your way. There's something called the hidden job market, for example. The hidden job market talks about the fact that over 50% of jobs, or at least 50% of jobs, are landed before they are posted on any recruitment site. And sometimes when some jobs are posted on recruitment site, it's just to tick a box. They've already picked somebody internally. Open to new opportunity, actively applying, then you get to a point where your profile is assessed by something called the applicant tracking system. This is technology that is used nowadays. If you are OG in the house, you will know that back in the days, for you to apply for roles, you would submit your CV. And when you submit the CV, you submit physical copies of the CV. Sometimes they look at it, sometimes they don't. Now there are engines that do that automatically today. And then you get to recruiter short calls. If you're not getting calls and you're actively applying, there's something wrong with what you're doing. If you're open to new opportunities and nobody is finding you, nobody is coming to you to say, hey, I see you're open to opportunities. Are you interested in this role or this other role? There's something wrong with your profile. If technical recruiters are calling you and then they are not pushing you forward to the recruiting manager, there's something wrong with what you are saying to the technical recruiter. And it goes on like that, stage by stage, up until the point when you land the job. Some people have to apply 500 times, 1,000 times to different roles before they find the one role. So don't get bogged down with the fact that you've gotten many emails that starts with unfortunately this, unfortunately that, and all of that. Don't get bogged down. Move on, learn the lesson. When you get to the stage of interview and if you're turned down, you should know that you can actually ask for feedback as regards that interview, and they will tell you some things. And don't say they didn't hear me well or anything like that. Take those feedback and then use it to work on your profile more. We have a couple of things that can support you on this journey. With the coaching that is available on the platform, we have an automated job application platform that is really intelligent, AI-based, that can help you. We are able to help with things like introduction to recruiters and so on. But this gives you an idea of what a beginner should do in this field. Because of time, I'm just going to rush through the rest of this because we've spoken for quite a while. With the UK Global Talent Visa, they are not just interested in what you do in your day-to-day employment, which is part of what we've talked about so far, from both building a startup, innovator founder, and also doing the best you can in the roles that you land. They are also interested in what you do outside your day-to-day employment. And so, as much as you can, you want to start being visible in your industry. You want to start attending industry events. That doesn't count, but there's a reason why you want to do that. You want to start doing those attending industry events up to a point when you can start speaking at smaller stages and eventually at big stages of 100 participants, 200 participants. It starts counting from 100 participants and above. But the point is, you have to build yourself to get there. Nobody will ask you to come speak to 100 people when they don't know what you are capable of doing at a stage of 10. If you are faithful in little, you'll be faithful in much, is what I'm saying. You want to start becoming visible around thought leadership. You want to start becoming visible around tech communities, open source communities. If you're a software developer, you want to start contributing to open source. You want to start getting star ratings on your project. You want to start your own open source project. You want to build communities. You want to start doing things like judging at hackathons. You want to start appearing in the newspaper. Pay attention to your public relations, right? And there are different things that you can do towards being that. Of course, you have to do things that are noteworthy for you to appear in newspaper. So if you haven't done anything noteworthy or you are not planning to do something noteworthy, what should the papers be talking about exactly? And so you need to build some sort of roadmap towards getting there, and then you can do that. Self-sponsorship route. For that, what you are trying to do is you're trying to build a business. And so you want to, it's similar to what I talked about in the innovator founder route. However, they are not focused on innovation there. They are just focused on you building a viable business. That's what the focus is, to say, does this business make sense? Can it actually pay the one staff that they want to hire, which is why you are getting the skilled worker visa and so on. So that's what you want to do there. And then with the Settle in the UK as a tech talent, what we've done is that we've actually written a blog post, which we will drop in this chat. And that blog post gives you detail. I'm sorry, it's about 15 pages, but that 15 pages gives you a lot of details around what you can start doing if you're trying to target these different visa opportunities at the same time. You will find that blog post on the eMigr8 platform. And so the title of the blog post is around the Settle in the UK as a tech talent, and it gives a lot of details, because what we've done is our playbook and some of the things that we would do with you, we've actually shared it on the platform, so that way you can also pick it up, and then if you need a little bit of support, that's available at no cost to you. I did mention that if you stay to the end of this session today, we do have a gift for you, and I'm going to talk about the gift now. And also to say that if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. I see a couple of questions. I'll take those questions shortly, but let me talk about the gift first. The gift is this. I mentioned at the beginning that we are only able to do one free one-to-one short coaching session per individual. But because you've been on this call till this point of the eMigr8 Open Day session, you've actually won an extra coaching session. And this extra coaching session is just one per individual as well. So please don't say, I've attended 20 eMigr8 Open Day sessions, so I should have 20 of these. No, we're only able to still do one extra one per person. But you have to do a couple of actions to redeem this particular coaching session. The action you need to do is go to any one of the eMigr8 communities. There are 6 of them. We shared the link earlier. And if you go on the app, you can see the links to all of the community. Any one of the community will count. And say on the community, you were part of this edition of eMigr8 Open Day, and you were told that you've won a session. It's being done manually at the moment. Eventually, it will be automated. But manually, what happens is that the community manager will take note of you and your profile, and they will add one more free session to your profile. You can use that free session within the next 3 months of when it is added to your profile. So you don't feel pressure to say you need to book immediately. In fact, the way we think it will work best is that you do your first free session, ask a couple of questions. You go back as you're building your profile, as you're working towards qualifying, you can do the second one. And then that helps your journey because it would be like you having someone and holding you through the journey. And so just to say that you've won this second session, if you're watching the replay video, the same instruction applies. Go to any of the communities and just mention this that you've won, and the community manager will be able to apply an extra coaching session to your profile, which you don't have to pay for. So congratulations to everyone on this call to this point in time. All right, so we're going to questions now. Has this been useful? We've shared a lot of information over the last 2 hours. I hope it was useful for you. Has it been useful? If it has been, please let us know, let us know, let us know. Most of the coaches on the platform, including myself, the reason why we continue to do this is because we are adding value. We're adding a lot of value, but the way we know we're adding value is if you let us know. You can give us a rating on the App Store. You can give us a review on any one of Trustpilot or on Google Maps and so on. But you can also let us know in the community. You can let us know here and there. We also meet people in different parts of the world that say, oh, they used eMigr8 and then they were successful, but we didn't even know they were using eMigr8. We're happy about that, but please let us know. That way, we also get a bit more fuel of continuing to do these sessions that we do on the eMigr8 platform. And so we're going to questions now. As I said, if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. I did say this was going to be at least 1.5 hours session, and I see that our time is fast spent, but we're almost done now. Just taking a few questions, and then we'll be closing the session. So someone says, how can I, as a newbie in data science, move to global talent visa route? So I think I've explained this. So you're already in data science, which is good. You want to build your profile in data science, but don't just focus on your work experience inside your work. Within your work, you need to start documenting impact that you are making in your current work. But then you need to also think about outside your day-to-day experience, outside your day-to-day work, because all of those will count when you're presenting your profile to your assessors to say, I am globally attractive, endorse me as a global talent. So we talked about it. I'll recommend you to go on the app and find video 1A. Video 1A, a series of videos, and that's about 4.5 hours that drills down into a lot of information as regards the global talent visa route and the fact that you've just mentioned. I see, I'm now looking at the comment. Thank you, people joining from Romford, from India, from Nigeria. We see you. Thank you. Thank you. Looking at the chats now to pick up as many questions as we can before we close this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Just to mention that on the platform, we do have other routes available on the eMigr8 visa platform. We focused on the UK today because that was the focus of today's edition of eMigr8 visa, but we focus on the UK, US, Canada, France, Germany, Australia on the platform. Lots of resources available, and we do multiple sessions like this focused on different routes at different times. Excited about the skilled worker route. Fantastic. And we gave some insights in there. If you go on the app, video 1D on the app is a session where I was the facilitator in that session, and I spent about 1.5 hours drilling down into each one of those steps of you landing a job that comes with sponsorship. And that's where you may want to start from if you are doing it yourself. If you're interested in do it for me or do it with me approach, you can also let us know, and the community managers will be able to get you on a call with one of the coaches as quickly as possible, so we are able to decide what package is best for you, and then with those packages you are able to then continue the journey. But if you're doing it yourself, we are also very welcome. We support a big community, people doing it themselves, and trying to help you become globally attractive is what gives us a lot of joy on this platform. And that brings me to the next question, which says, for someone who doesn't have money to move to abroad, how possible can it be for me to travel without spending any cash? Very possible. And if you go to the app, I'm not sure what video it is, but just find as part of the indication of interest, there's the German route. And the person that spoke on the German route, one of our successes as well, actually moved to Germany without spending a dime of his money. So it is very possible, and we have successes on the community and on the platform that can show you the way. And the reason why they didn't spend a dime is because the company that hired them in Germany paid for everything, including relocation allowance. So paid for flight, paid for visa, paid for relocation allowance, did all of the processing for the individual because they absolutely wanted the person to come work for them. So very possible, and eMigr8 will show you the way if you stick with the platform. Expert in project management, fantastic. UK visa. How much to join the circle in Naira? I saw, yeah, all our pricing is in pounds at the moment. And so you just need to convert to your local currency. So if it's in Naira that you would like to pay for this for the annual subscription, you can convert that to your local currency in Naira in the case of this question. And what would happen is that there are other options to make payment from different countries in the world. And so let us know, have a chat with one of the community managers, and they will let you know. eMigr8 Circle is a premium community on the platform, and that gives you access to the coaches, access to real-time information, and access to access to the premium community. Somebody said link to the WhatsApp community seems to be broken. You can join the other communities. The WhatsApp community is a guarded community because it's the best of the communities to join as at this moment. We are working really hard to make all the other communities as active, as useful, but WhatsApp is the best one. And part of the reason is because we actually screen the people we allow into the WhatsApp community as at the point of recording this video. And so join the other communities. You can also ask the community managers in there to say you need help. And thank you for the feedback about a broken link. The product manager in charge of the app hopefully will pick this up and go fix it if there's a problem. And if there's no problem, and if you're in any of the other community, you can also ask them to say, this is the issue you're having. My colleague here would also drop the links to the community in this chat to give you a direct link to join the community as well. You would also find it on the app under indication of interest resources. I believe that we've done justice to the topic today. And the topic today was around multiple routes in which you can use to settle in the UK. We asked earlier to say, let us know which one of these routes are most attractive to you. We talked about the UK Innovator Founder Visa. We talked about the UK Skilled Worker Visa. We talked about the UK Global Talent Visa. We talked about the UK Self-Sponsorship route. And we talked about the eMigr8 Settle in the UK as a tech talent package as 5 options that you can use. We explained that you can use these options whether you're doing a do-it-yourself approach, which is mostly free, and we are still here, and the platform is still here to support you, or you're doing a do-it-with-me approach where you have coaches who will handle your journey, who will guide you through the journey, who will show you the way. Some of these coaches that have done this themselves in the past. And then we have the do it for me approach, which would give you all of those coaching plus logistics plus technical writing, plus project management, plus a number of other directions like that would help your journey towards being successful within the shortest possible time. We explained that eMigr8 does not offer immigration advice. eMigr8 does not offer legal advice. We are not lawyers. We are not immigration consultants. What we do is we show you the way to become globally attractive. We help you become globally attractive so you qualify for all of these different visa routes. If you need help filling an immigration form, which is what an immigration consultant would do, you can pay an immigration consultant to do that. And we can refer you to immigration consultants on our platform as well. But that's not what we focus on. What we focus on this platform is how do you become globally attractive? How do you go from where you are to where you want to be? And how can we support that journey? And that's what gives us joy, because the more people we make impact on, the better the world will be. And the sooner you fulfill your dreams, the sooner you are able to help many more people fulfill their dreams as well. Thank you so much for being part of this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. We've been sharing around different routes. We talked about also different facilities available on the eMigr8 platform. We talked about the AI, eMigr8 AI, that you can use today to get information, education. It's been trained on thousands and thousands of hours of data information around the talent mobility around the eMigr8 route. We're currently also deploying the automated road mapping to say, put in your profile and you will get a roadmap based on the visa that you're looking at, that you're looking for or that you're interested in. We've talked about a number of resources available for you on the eMigr8 platform. And so it's up to you now to use those resources. They're all there, and hopefully you will find it useful. Normally, we'll talk to 5 different audience at the end of this eMigr8 Open Day, but I feel like we've done that already throughout the session. For beginners, you found your route and we explained a number of things. If you're already at the intermediate level, just continue doing some of the things you're doing and check the gaps that you have so that you can make sure you qualify within the shortest possible time. If you're an expert, you are probably already qualified. And so what are you waiting for? Why don't you quickly do a self-assessment if there's anything you need to do? And these routes are available now. Policies change, and we are aware that a number of policies will change very soon. Some positive, which opens more routes, but there's one that is not so positive. So the sooner you make use of the opportunity available, the better. And that also talks to those that are looking to switch. For if you are looking to switch in the future and you still have at least 1 year, nothing stops you from starting your journey now, because some of these journeys will take at least 1 year, will take 1 year. So start now. Don't wait till when you are 2 months to your visa expiring before you realize that, oh, I don't have an option to switch. And so can I start now? And then you're now looking for how you can fake it and all of that. Don't do that. Do it the other way around. Do it in the way where you build yourself, you become globally attractive, and you have multiple options open to you at that point in time. Options in the UK, options in other parts of the world as well, if that is more of your interest. And if you're ready to apply, we are ready to help. DIY, do it with me or do it for me. It doesn't matter which one you want to use, which one you would like to use. Let us know how we can support you, and we are here to support you as much as we are able to. All the coaches are here to help, and they're on the app waiting to speak with you on a one-to-one basis, waiting to handhold you and waiting to help your journey. Thank you so much for joining us at this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Let us know if this has been useful to you. Let us know if this has been useful if you watch the replay video. Let us know in the comments on whatever platform that you're watching this on. And for those of us joining live, let us know in the comments as well. We see some of your feedback. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for those feedback. It helps us, and it helps us to continue doing what it is that we currently do. And we want to do more, and we are looking forward to doing more. Catch you on the community. Thank you for being here today. Cheers.